Hey everyone, welcome to the Uncapped Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Sands. I'm joined by special guest hosts, I guess also kind of a guest, Dan Baumiller, just the guy from Full Tilt, and our esteemed guest this week is Zane Lamprey. He has his hand up a puppet's butt.
No. And I'm Steve.
Oh, wait, you guys.
Yeah, see, you get it.
I think it would almost be easier to say what you don't do than along the lines of what you do.
Yeah,
So,
my laundry.
So what do we want to list? Entrepreneur, comedian, TV host,
you know
podcaster.
It just depends on the time of year and like the particular year. So like right now, my days are pretty split between Adventure, which is my apparel brand, and my stand-up comedy tour, which starts in like just over a month. So I should probably start writing some jokes.
I think you might be a little bit late on that.
I think I am too.
From what I understand, stand-up comedians put a little bit more than a couple months into their acts. I'm not a professional, but
I've been writing mine for about 2 years. So I was supposed to do it last year, and I work on it. I work on it every day. So it's tight. It's tight. And next week I start performing in like front of very small groups, which by the way is way worse than big groups. Just to sort of start working it together. But man, these shows are going to be so much fun. Not only because like people are just ready, because they were ready last year. Like they were ready for the show last year, but this year they're just like, oh my God, just give us a reason to go out and have some beer and laugh and that kind of thing. My act is now tighter than it would have been if I did it last year. And it is stand up. I'm more of a storytelling stand up rather than this quick little jokes. But my job, just like my job has been doing the TV shows that I've done and everything, is like my job is the host to entertain people. My job is to make sure people have a good time. And that is what will happen. So, especially with good beer like this one.
What is this one? Because way more people listen to this than watch.
Yeah, right. Good call. So I am drinking a Full Tilt Snowcat dry hopped Pilsner. So this is a collaboration between that gentleman sitting next to you, Dan, and myself, and really my team and his team. And also Barks, which is a local animal rescue in Baltimore. So what I'm doing on this tour is, we're just trying to make as much noise as possible, have as much fun as possible, and let's leave some goodwill in our wake. And that's both like selling a lot of beer and helping out the breweries and bringing some attention to the breweries and just the local community when we're there. But also let's see if we can that need to be adopted while we're there. So everywhere we go, every stop along the tour, we are working with the brewery where we're having the show and a local animal rescue. So raise awareness, raise some money, help out some cats and dogs and bunnies and guinea pigs and lizards and whatever else they take in, which by the way, people will be surprised it's not just cats and dogs and birds. And so this is really like, we were going to do the show at Full Tilt and I was really excited about it, but there is such a big, I guess, fan base for the shows that I've done in Baltimore that we needed a little bit more space. We were going to do, because Dan, you guys could do like maybe like 150, right? Seated. Wasn't that the conversation?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're expecting like 300 to 400 to 500 people. So we did it at Ministry of Brewing, and Dan, you guys, you better be there. If not, I'll stop the show and come get you guys. But I was going to possibly do 2 shows at Full Tilt, And we talked about it. And I was on the bubble, and I was trying to decide, but like, this is kind of like, it's every night is like a marathon. Starts off slow, ends a little faster, but everything I have goes into it. So to try to do 2 in one night in Baltimore, I just don't know. I am doing that in Philly because we have to, because we couldn't find a venue big enough. But
it doesn't seem fair to do that for people in Philadelphia and not for people in Baltimore.
No, people in Baltimore are going to get the better end of it because they're going to get one show with everything. In Baltimore, you're going to get an early show with me holding back a little bit in the reserve, and then you're going to probably get the drunk version of my show at night. So,
well, Zane, I forgive you, but I don't think Nick probably does. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't think he'll ever forgive you.
Why would he? He better not. I like having a nemesis in Baltimore.
Baltimore's not a city you want to make enemies.
No, it's not. It's not. You don't want enemies in Baltimore. No. Take enemies in Poughkeepsie or something like that.
I don't see why that's funny.
Which shows us that you do.
No, it's more that like you would have a stalker enemy in Nick.
Yeah,
which you may already. Actually, he has stalked you from when you did the Drinking Made Easy episode in Baltimore. I think he followed you to the horse you rode in on.
Oh no, yeah. So
yeah, where you bought that whiskey bottle.
It's not the horse you came in on.
Yeah, I think it is that. I get it mixed up.
Because I have a whole joke about it. I was like, it's the horse you came in or the horse you came on, the horse you came in and on. I don't know really.
Well, I might remember it now.
So we were doing Drinking Made Easy there, and we did this bar in Baltimore called The Horse You Came In On, which I believe was like Edgar Allan Poe's bar or something like that.
No, they said it was the last place that he was ever seen alive. Like it's assumed that he stumbled out of there and died. So
he died. Yeah, which is great. Which is a great feature bar to have. And so we showed up and we were hanging out with the guy, and he's like, "So what's the show? Drinking Made Easy? I don't know if I've heard of it, whatever." Like yeah, people watch. He's like, "Really?" Because none of my friends have heard of him. I'm like, "Oh, trust me, whatever." So whatever. We had fun and we shot it in an empty bar before they opened, and then we get back the next morning and we're all having breakfast or whatever, and the guys on the crew were like, "Zane, we have a problem. We didn't record one of the cameras. Like the card we record on didn't work. So we only have one camera." And we looked at the footage, and it's like, it's B camera, right? Where A camera is like a wide shot of everything, and then B camera kind of goes back and forth and shoots like the hands and stuff like that. And he's like, it just won't work. So we had to call the guy back up and go back and shoot it again. So most of what you'd see in that episode is the second day's shoot. I think we maybe used a little bit of the first day. And I tweeted, and I think maybe put on my Facebook while I was there, "Hey, we're at the horse you came in on, shooting a scene. If you guys want to come and hang out in the scene, whatever." And so I posted it, and by like 40 minutes into the scene, the bar was so packed we had to stop.
Well, Nick was one of those people.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say the problem was that there was a creepy tattooed guy wearing a full tilt hat outside of the bar looking for you.
There's like 7 of those. Seven creepy tattooed guys in full tilt hats, which was weird.
Well, I will say, like, I don't want to take over the interview because I'm not the host, but like I do listen to your pod, Zane, and I appreciate the grind. Like, honestly, like as a business owner, like that things don't come super easy to like most people. Like, I appreciate where you go through like all of your trials and tribulations. And, it sounds like you're one of us. And just like the grind you go through with this tour and like what you did or what you've done during Drinking Made Easy is like just astounding to me. Like how many different places you went to and you did, Drinking Made Easy during the day. And then at night you did the comedy show. Yeah. And I guess on this tour, you're not doing like a Drinking Made Easy type of show.
No, we're not doing TV during the day, which by the way was crazy ambitious, and no one's done that. It's because they shouldn't. It's like I don't know if I'd have the stamina to do it. I if I had to, I could, but
you only live once, and
yeah, true.
you know, and it makes me appreciate you if nothing else, but like the amount of shows that you're doing, you know, fine, you're not doing TV this time, but like explain to people how many shows you're doing and how many days. Like, you know, that's why I forgive you, even though Nick won't, about not coming to Full Tilt, because like you're straight grinding through this. So like I'm 0% mad at you.
Save all the mad for Nick. I think we'll end up doing about 90 shows between June 3rd and December 18th. To the point where in September I'm not home at all during that month. I'm on the road because there's like 3 days, and I'm not going to fly home the day after. Come here to my house in LA, which is across the country for most of these shows. Chill out for a day and then take another day flight? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. So, you know, most of it we're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows. The bigger shows are on the weekends, and then, you know, recoup and do it again, all while still running my apparel brand and other things. And we're talking to a few production companies and networks about maybe turning this into a show. I'm almost like a little hesitant to do it because I don't
that Netflix money
from the show, from the live show. What's that?
Get that Netflix money.
Well, you know, that wouldn't hurt, right?
That makes it worthwhile, right?
That makes it worthwhile. I mean, you know, it's funny because the schedule, it's like, this is what we're doing. And what's crazy is we were planning to do it for 2020. And because, you know, I've done 4 travel drinking shows. I've done 3 Sheets, which was on Mojo, Spike, Fine Living Network, Travel Channel. I mean, like, and then I did Drinking Made Easy for Mark Cuban's HD Net, which traveled to a bunch of networks as well. I did Chug, which was on Nat Geo and Netflix. And I did 4 Sheets for Drink TV, a network, you know, shot it about 2 summers ago, almost 2 summers ago. And, you know, with like all these networks, either the executive decides, okay, we're done with it and move on, or the network shuts down or whatever. So I'm like, dude, I'm tired of being at the mercy of other people's, I'm tired of my fate being determined by someone else. And so I'm going to go out and I'm going to do stand-up. I love doing stand-up. I have way more stories to tell that I have time for on this tour. And so I got several tours in me just of stories of things that have already happened, let alone the stories on the tour. And so I was like, you know, the only thing that can stop this tour, which is in 2020, is God, you know, or like, or a bat and a pig or in China or something. Anyway, but, and so God's like, oh, really? Like, watch.
Challenge
like, okay,
accepted.
Yeah. Which proves that God is a woman. So I don't know. Can I say that? Is that weird?
If you haven't heard about our beer dinners, well, now you have. Typically, the last Tuesday of each month, we partner with a local brewery and craft an exclusive 5-course dinner. Each course is thoughtfully paired with some of the finest craft beer available. You'll meet the brewery, enjoy memorable pairings and service, and have a damn good time. Like us on Facebook to stay in the know when tickets become available, because they will sell out quick.
Idiom Brewing Company proudly offers a delicious variety of beers to satisfy the most discerning tastes. Best known for their wide array of IPAs, delicious fruited sours, and robust porters and stouts, Idiom prides themselves on continuing to innovate, utilizing new and experimental hops, local ingredients, and unique flavor profiles. Idiom has a simple goal in mind: to bring people from all walks of life together to enjoy themselves and each other. Idiom Brewing Company is located in downtown Frederick, just south of the intersection of East Street and East Patrick Street, with ample seating and directly on Carroll Creek.
So wait, real quick, completely unrelated to anything you've said. Well, I guess it kind of is related to God being a woman. Do you have any connection to Kevin Smith?
I mean, I've met him. I don't know him. I know people who know him.
Okay. Because you have 2/3 of the trio of like people I admire in showbiz the most. Like Bert Kreischer, I think, is one of the funniest people alive. And Mark Cuban makes me want to invent something just so I could either have him invest in me, or I would even be fine if I was one of the people he told me how stupid I was.
By the way, he did both to me. So he invested
so it doesn't have to be either or.
So, yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's doing my stand-up. I have a lot of stories, and what good stand-up is learning how to tell those stories. Everybody's got great stories. A great comedian can really tighten that story into something that's like engaging the whole way through, and then it's clear and concise, and then boom, you're out of it before you want it to end. And so one story that, like, I don't even know what the ending to the story is because I don't know that I've ever told it, but I live in LA, and Mark Cuban reaches out. He's like, "Hey, you want to grab lunch tomorrow?" I'm like, "Sure." You know what I mean? And you don't want to be like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to get drunk? Are we going to talk business? I'm like, shit, I better be ready for everything. And so I met him at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and we had lunch, and I was like, it's just one of those things. Like, I want to do this right. And the cool thing about Mark is that he is what he seems to be, which I guess a lot of people are. But Mark Cuban seems like he's just a cool guy that put in his hard work and didn't become a douchebag from it. And that's just how he is.
Well, it's because he's from Pittsburgh.
That's why. So that's the punchline of that one. It's because he's from Pittsburgh. But it's funny, but that, that just turned into a lunch, and we just kind of talked about the show and whatever. And it was relatively uneventful, but then we went out drinking at South by Southwest, and that was a little bit crazier. So, he likes to have a good time. And by the way, I don't know, do people know that Mark Cuban is a massive person? Do people know he's like 6'4", 6'5", and he's just like a big giant guy?
I did know that, but I don't remember how. I think it's just from like seeing him tower over people on Shark Tank. Yeah,
you're just like, oh wow. So anyway, it's a great experience. Just even knowing him, we still talk every now and then, and it's a great just like you've said. I don't need him to come in and be investing in this or that, whatever. Honestly, I'm just happy to like be friends with him and have hung out with him, and that's probably why we continue to be friends and hang out, because I don't really want anything, like pretty happy. Maybe if I go in some time machine and tell me to buy Bitcoin, that would be nice, but
or even just a year ago told you to buy some Dogecoin and then cash out 2 days ago.
Yes, exactly. Good God. Yes, exactly.
Although I had that same conversation about Bitcoin with someone not too long ago, and I was saying how I work in the IT department of a newspaper. Okay. So I'm always listening to technology podcasts too, and they were talking about this new thing, Bitcoin. And I was going to set up some computers to start mining for it. And in those early times, like, you would just get several a day.
Yeah.
And then it got to like one of the steps. I was like, this isn't going to work.
You'd get several coins a day?
Yeah, when it first started.
Oh my God.
And I just stopped because it became like there was one step, it was a little bit difficult. And in my mind, like, it was just a complete waste of time. So I was telling this to this guy that, like, I regret not doing that, but most likely I would have been that person that decided to buy a pizza with Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Then he tells me how at one point he had 250 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he spent them all on Silk Road buying drugs.
Oh, wow.
I was like, you win. You get to feel worse.
Right. Oh my God. He's like, the drug dealers. I at one point almost took everything I had and put it in Apple, but this was in 1996.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to go on a comedy tour.
No, or I would just for fun.
Yeah.
So, I everything I had, I had 50 grand, and I was going to put it in, and then the stockbroker at the time is like, nope, don't do it. I'm not going to let you do it. That's a bad decision. We don't know where it's going to go, because that's when Steve Jobs had left, maybe was coming back, whatever it was. But I just I was an Apple person at that point. But, look, at the end of the day, the ebbs and flows, you got to just be happy with who you are on the inside. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but everything else just becomes part of the adventure. There are yachts that are miserable. You know what I mean? It's just did my connection break up, or was that clear? We froze for a second.
Yeah, you froze there for 1 second.
We got the sentiment, like money isn't everything.
As
co-host, esteemed co-host, I have a question. Zane, how many world records do you have, or how many have you ever held?
So I have 2 official. One is sabering the most bottles of champagne.
Good, that's the only one we care about.
It is.
So
well, the other one's almost more interesting. And by the way, I did that, and it wasn't. We just did it. We did it during Super Bowl halftime, and Mark Cuban sponsored it, meaning he bought the bottles of champagne. And it wasn't necessarily difficult, like record to beat, because to practice it, you need bottles of champagne. You know, it gets expensive. The other one was.
Well, wait, real quick though.
Yeah.
When you're in Baltimore, I want to challenge you to a beer bottle sabering contest.
Okay. Can you do it?
Saber a beer bottle? Yeah, absolutely. I speak as a 2-week veteran of sabering.
Oh yeah, you sound polished.
It'll be a sprint contest more than a marathon, but we can do it back in the brewery area where it won't be a problem.
Yeah. So you're taking what size is that bottle?
So I did it with a bomber. Like it was a 20 some ounce one, but you can do it with regular size ones too.
If you get it cold enough, right?
I don't know about the tiny ones, but the bomber one, it wasn't super cold.
Oh, wow. I mean, the thing is, you're kind of changing the molecular structure a little bit when the colder it gets, because the colder it gets, the more brittle.
Yeah.
And for people that don't understand, you might think in sabering you're taking off just the cork, but in fact you're taking off the whole end of the bottle, all the glass, and it's so really explosive that there's not really any glass particles, although it's a very sharp edged bottle at the end. So that's what you're doing, right? You're removing the end of the bottle when you were sabering those beer bottles. Yeah.
Yep.
When we did it, it was in Dallas, the Super Bowl. Dallas was not in the Super Bowl, but it was in Dallas, and they had this freak snowstorm there. It got like a foot of snow or more. And when we did it, it was like very cold out, like 20 degrees. And so, I mean, we chilled the bottles, but we didn't need to because the air was 20 degrees. So I had a little bit of an advantage, the fact that I was doing it outside in the cold. By the way, the other world record is exactly. Is
that's the beer bottle.
That's you?
Yeah, that's me. That's my rookie beer saber.
That's your first one. That's your inaugural one.
And I'm willing to go up against the world record holder.
And what is it that you would like to challenge me in number of bottles and amount of time?
Yeah, number of bottles in a minute. We could go for the world record.
Wow. Oh, okay. How carbonated is that bottle? Doesn't look like it's like doing the explosion.
It is barely carbonated. That was a pastry stout with tons of peanut butter and marshmallow in it.
Wow. That sounds amazing. Yeah, I mean, look, the more carbonated, I have to find out where this video is. I wish you could be playing this video, but like the last bottle I did, it was, again, carbonated, pressure, frozen bottle, not just the neck this time, the whole bottle. I was wearing ski gloves to do it because it was so cold, and it would have been slippery. And so, which makes me wonder if Guinness would have approved it because I wasn't, because I was wearing gloves. But the last bottle completely exploded on my hand, the whole bottle, like just to nothing. So thankfully I had those ski gloves because I probably would have cut myself. So the other record is the longest live podcast, and I believe it was 26 hours.
That is really long.
Yeah. Did you say it's really long because you listened to it, or because that amount of time is long?
I have not listened to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that is a long amount of time to talk.
So that was completely sanctioned. We had an attorney. We had third-party witnesses is there. I didn't know. They came in and had to sit there for like 2 hours at a time to make sure I didn't sleep or spend too much time going to the bathroom or whatever it was. And so they had to sign affidavits. We videotaped it. We recorded it. It was like that was a Guinness record. I was going to have an actual Guinness plaque. And Bert Kreischer came at the beginning of that. And then he also came at the very end. Like such a fucking cool dude. Because he came at like 6 or something like that. And then maybe he came at like 1 a.m. or something. And then just friends came along, the whole time. Everyone was just so supportive of it. And then we're done. And then the guy who was like my assistant at the time lost the video file, which is what we needed to get the actual record. So I never got it authenticated, which was, let's be honest, like I got some cool stuff hanging in my office. A Guinness World Record would have been a very cool thing.
That would be.
Because like I was standing up talking for 26 hours straight.
You had to be, was that like part of the rule that you had to be standing, or you just chose?
If I would have sat down, I would have fell asleep.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Yeah. Even maybe I would sit in a stool from time to time, but like I did it. Like I just kept at it. A lot of like coffees and Red Bull, and the crazy thing is like, we started off because it was the Drinking Made Easy podcast and we like have some drinks and whatever. And so like, you got to power through that. Cause after you have a few drinks, at some point your body's like, ooh, let's nap. You know what I mean? And we couldn't do that, but it was fun. It was a great experience. And the rest of my crew did an amazing job. Just they were with me the whole time. Technically they would have been part of the record as well.
All except for that one guy.
All except for Tyler. Goddamn Tyler. Oh, yes, exactly. So I did it, but I would like that plaque, And someone would have beat me by now, but who cares? I would have had it, You can't take it away. So
yeah,
maybe I'll make one in Photoshop because
no one's gonna question you.
No one's gonna question it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write that down. Guinness
to do
Guinness plaque. Boom. Okay, done. Well, there you go.
Do you have someone to open for you in Baltimore?
So I have 2 guys on my tour team right now. Derek is handling that. So I don't know the answer. Why?
Because I can just read whatever you write for Steve to perform in Utah, and I can just read the same one.
I don't, this is going to turn into therapy because Steve is like, he's always been like, I guess, intermittently motivated, where I am like continuously motivated. That's not to say that there's not lulls and down days and, whatever, but like Steve is whenever, like I have to hunt him down to do the podcast now. And so I'm just like, I'm just done. I'm done. I have Jack Maxwell from Booze Traveler. He's coming over here. We're going to do the podcast this week. Then I got Chris DiStefano, an amazing comedian. He's going to do it the week after that. And so now I'm just like, and Steve won't even know. He doesn't even know. He's just like, he hasn't been on the podcast in 2 weeks, and he doesn't even, whatever. Because he doesn't drink anymore. That shouldn't have that much to do with it. Yes, we're talking a lot of the best stories about Steve are when Steve does dumb stuff when he drank, right? But now he doesn't drink anymore. But like, all right, now I don't know if he like feels like it's part of the process about not talking about it, but I hate to do a podcast and feel like, it was never really the brand was never really drinking excessively. I mean, that was like a Steve thing, but that was his choice or, whatever. But like the fact that like I have to feel like I can't even have this amazing full tilt Snowcat dry hop Pilsner on the podcast because I got to feel like I'm offending the guy who is done drinking because he's drank all of it. Like he's drank more than I'll ever drink. Sorry.
Well, he was good comic relief, like on the show. Like you might like interview someone that was like very serious. Like one of my favorite interactions, and it's just because I love San Diego, so I probably watched it more times than not.
Oh, Steve, Steve Cook. Or
yes,
Greg
yes,
Cook.
exactly. And actually, the guy to my left here, or to my right on camera, whatever it is, like he interviewed Greg too, and he got some like pretty funny responses, like in some rantings. But I just remembered like just the daggers Greg is staring into like Steve's soul for like how dare you chug this finely crafted ale that I brew.
Was he really mad at you guys? Because he looked like he was legitimately mad. There are many reasons why I have chosen District East for where I purchase beer. I love the flexibility of being able to make a custom 6-pack or take home a crowler from one of the 8 beers on tap. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff do an amazing job at keeping a diverse selection on hand. You can even purchase artwork from the monthly featured artist. District East is located on Northeast Street in Frederick, in the same shopping center as Family Mill and Rockwell Brewery. You can find today's beer lists on the District East Facebook page or at www.districteast.beer. To all you craft breweries, wineries, and distilleries out there, listen up. Atlantic Custom Solutions is the real deal in providing you branded growlers, ceramics, glassware, and accessories like koozies, coasters, and keychains. Their high-definition digital printing, organic ink, and low-fire process ensures your brand is printed in ultra-high definition, giving you a one-up on the competition. We've used Atlantic Custom Solutions for uncapped branded glassware and couldn't be happier with it. Check them out. Visit www.brandmybeverage.com or give them a call at 434-286-4500 to learn more about how they can help you brand your business. Uncapped is brought to you with support from McClintock Distilling, Maryland's first and only organic certified distillery. They are well known for their award-winning gin and are rapidly growing a name for themselves for their Matchstick Bourbon and Bootjack Rye Whiskey that have both won double gold at international spirits competitions. You can visit them in historic downtown Frederick along Carroll Creek for tours and tastings. Go to McClintockDistilling.com for more information.
There's a lot to that. So what happened was when we got to the brewery, Greg was like, "Hey, welcome, Zane. If you want to come upstairs, I'm doing like a little video recording because we just launched a new Stone Brewing soap." So for anyone listening, like Greg is the founder of Stone Brewing, which is a pretty, significant, definitely in the top 10 most significant craft breweries really in the country as far as like historically and groundbreaking, that kind of thing. And so, but when we went there, he looked like a normal person. Now I think he looks like Jesus and walks around in a robe and flip flops. But he said, "Come up to the office. We're going to shoot this thing." And so he said it was like beer soap. And I was like, "Well, like beer soap? Can you drink it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." So I was like, "Okay." And I opened it up and I drank it. No, it was just soap. Like, it wasn't like just beer zero. It was just soap. It was like maybe it smelled like soap. So I drank a bunch of it and I started coughing, and then I drank like a water and I was coughing up like soapy bubbles that were floating in the air. And I'm sure this video exists someplace. So I was like, whereas normally I would have been like, "Hey, Steve, be respectful. Come on, this guy's respected in the craft beer community, ever. So just go easy." I was like, "Steve, I don't care what you do." I said, I don't care. I don't care. You picked up and chug it. Like, okay. I'm like, "Oh, great, chug it." So there was kind of a little bit of weirdness. And then, the other thing is part of the propaganda of the whole thing, where Greg was like, "I'm so mad because I grew up on fizzy yellow beer and I was never told that there were more options than this, and I feel deceived," and da-da-da-da-da. Like, well, there was like, Sam Adams and Newcastle and Guinness, and there were options back there. It wasn't just fizzy yellow stuff. Yeah. So I think it's just part of his sort of his shtick. So was he really mad? Nah, he wasn't mad. Were we trying to upset him? Yeah, a little bit maybe.
Well, I mean, he definitely. I got him to go off a little bit about Germans when I interviewed him.
His Berlin brewery that like didn't work out.
Oh yeah, that's
he
right.
Went on a rant about all German people.
Yeah, basically how lazy contractors are.
Look, I had an interview the other day where we kind of talked about this, and to sum it up, is that Europe led the charge on beer culture for centuries, and we picked it up, and we, as Americans, we did our thing, right, where we like just kind of broke it down and exploded it and celebrated and did some amazing things with it. So now, now the rest of the world is really looking to us for what we are doing and what we have done recently in beer culture. So, 30 years ago, it was definitely Europe, the Germans, the Belgian, other countries really doing amazing things with beer. And then,
does Brussels Sprouts liquor still give you hard nipples?
Yeah, it does. It does. Try some. Let me reach for some behind me. But now, it's like we are leading the charge, and people are following our craft beer culture that we have followed. So to this soon in the process, go back to Germany and open a brewery. I don't know why. I don't know what the reasons are that it didn't work out. I don't see why it wouldn't. They have a very strong beer culture over there. Well, do we know why it didn't work out?
He listed, one, it was way over budget. They opened way later than they were supposed to, and it was like a half-hour drive outside of any populated area.
Oh,
so I guess they said that there isn't the culture to go to destination breweries like that in.
I mean, where you can drink in Germany? The answer is anywhere. So like you can go to a town square, and almost everyone has a town square, and you can just go get beer and walk around or whatever. So you don't need to make it a destination. So maybe that's the difference, right? We don't have town squares, we have malls. So we will go and go a distance to go to a brewery, I guess.
Yeah, you'd have to listen to the Uncapped podcast for the full story, but basically, he was just going on rants that they don't really care about the quality of beer, and basically it's just cheap beer.
Wow.
And, I mean, he sounded like a woman scorned, or a man scorned.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a person scorned.
So how did you get into being a professional drinker?
Well, and this is a story in my stand-up, and it's obviously it's at the beginning. I was the story it's funny, that's in whittling down the story, the part that I removed that I've been telling lately, and people seem to like it, is that I was called in to audition for this show called You Should Open a Restaurant. And the premise is that Chris is such a good chef that Dan says, hey, I nominate Chris for the show. And they turn Chris's house into a restaurant for the day. And they have a sous chef and waiters and all this kind of stuff. And so they brought me in as the host. And I was talking with the producers and making them laugh. And they were just like, oh, you're hilarious. But I don't think this is the right show for you. I'm like, oh, okay. And I guess that's fine. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, we're looking for the host of the show, like the host, like to seat people, not like hosting the show. We're like, you literally just show people to their seat. You're not even talking. What are you doing here? And so I was like, okay, whatever. And then I left, and they run down the hall after me. The producer did it, and he's like, and I'm kind of like, doing the walk of shame, carrying my shoes, and my mascara is running because I'm crying. And, because it was a rough disappointment. But they said, well, hey, wait a second. We have a show called 3 Sheets where you would travel around the world and drink. Is that something you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I guess that would be nice. So, and that's what we did. So like we started doing that. And really, because they were a Seattle-based. I didn't point out the fact. I'm sorry. I didn't point out the fact that they were from Seattle. So this audition was in a hotel room. So it was like I show up to this hotel room, and you open the door, and there's like the bed and whatever, and there's the producers, and it was kind of like,
Was there a black leather couch?
Yeah, like what do I got to do to get the job here? And so, but they were from Seattle, so they actually like said, "We'll call you," and they called me, you know. And then I was up in Seattle shooting the pilot like a month after that. And the crazy thing is, if you go to Seattle to shoot the pilot, how do you get home? Because you shot the pilot. So who's going to fly the plane?
Ah, there it is. That's the tour.
Well, trust me, that joke is not in there.
Well, I just want to dive in. Like, I just want to dive in. Like, Nick and I have said this over like emails to Zane or like however correspondence, but you know, Full Tilt Brewing was founded on 3 sheets, like the show that Zane made.
Oh, geez. Now I'm not going there on my tour. What an asshole I am.
Ravens game disappointment. Some losing to the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers. And 3 sheets. So like if there wasn't a football game on, you know, we worked there, we brewed in Nick's apartment, our home brews. Like that's how we got started. And we watched 3 sheets. Like no lie. Like Nick is the one that discovered your show. And that's what we sat around and watched. And so, you know, maybe we're stalkers. I'm not quite sure. I guess that's why I'm here.
You appreciate the work that I've done. I think that's fine. If you were stalkers, you'd be like, hey, check this out. You're winning. You guys are winning that. Like that's a stalker.
Yeah.
By the way, holy shit. Nick's there.
Yeah, well, we've been following along since, and you know, like we're huge supporters, and we appreciate what you do for the community. Craft Beer Man of the Year 2020, is that right?
Oh yeah,
Crushies.
Craft Beer Marketing Awards, Man of the Year. Yeah, my CBMA.
Yeah, show it for the video watchers.
For the 7 people that are on video, as opposed to the 70,000 there.
Yeah,
to it.
Guys, holding
this was the. This is an amazing award. It was, you know, they were fans of the show, and they're like, look, I don't think you realize how many people you've influenced. And I don't necessarily, I never think about anything that I do on that level. And so for them to like say they want me to be their first man of the year, I was like, wow, that is amazing. It couldn't have fallen in a worse year in that 2020 was not a great year for breweries, but it was a great year to get a nice little pick-me-up with this award, you know?
So I think all of that was Dan's way of saying you broke Nick's heart.
Yeah, I see that. I can see it. He's out there. He's outside in my house doing something weird. I can't really tell. Dance or I don't know. He's kind of shuffling his feet. Yeah, it looks sad, whatever it is.
So, how do you decide what cities you're going to go to? Is it just like picking the most?
Are you talking about doing the stand up or doing?
Yeah, for your tour. How did you choose what cities you were going to go to on your tour?
So there's a lot that goes into it. One is like routing. Like we knew we were going to do Baltimore. We knew we were going to do DC. We knew we were going to do Philly. That's because good size, good population density, but also we know that there's a good fan base in those places because of like from doing that scene at the Horse You Came In On, we knew that there's a good concentration of fans there. So like there's certain cities we knew we had to hit. And then there's some that are like, the tough one is like Minneapolis, because what we do is we fly in and then we pretty much drive for like 2 weeks from brewery to brewery. We're not doing the tour buses like we did last time because they were so ridiculously expensive. And so now we're flying in and driving. And the crazy thing that people might not realize about Minneapolis is that Minneapolis is like 4 hours from anything. You know what I mean? Whereas like Philly, Wilmington, Delaware, Baltimore, it's like DC, like you can see that route. You get an hour and a half drive every day. That's awesome. Whereas like, some parts of the Midwest you're driving for longer. But I mean, that's kind of what we set. We set a cap of like 3 hours because it's like I'll wake up, I'll do like, my computer work for adventure for like an hour, go to the gym, grab breakfast. I just want to have like a nice routine where I get to sleep in. Then we got to drive, and then we drive pretty much straight to the brewery. Get there at 4, do our sound check, get ready. The VIPs get there at 6, and kind of like, and then we do it. And then at night, exhausted, go to the hotel, and then go to sleep, wake up, and do that. So, it's the unfortunate thing is we just don't have a lot of time doing the tour buses. We would get on the tour bus, and that was our hotel room, and then get on the tour bus, go to sleep, and we wake up at 9 a.m. the next morning at the venue for the next day. You're like, that is amazing. So then you have the entire day to like do stuff. Whereas this time, a lot of the day, because even if it's a 3-hour drive, it's going to still take like 4 hours, stopping for this and lunch and traffic or whatever it is. So there's just a lot of logistics go into it. So, that's pretty much what it is like, as far as choosing is like the routing. But then finding breweries, because breweries are not set up to do events of this magnitude. That's why Ministry of Brewing was like, it's a church. It's like, it's need to see, a few.
They were set up at one point.
Yeah. Like if we could find a church everywhere, we'd be great. But like, even like the trouble spot right now is Seattle. I've talked to every brewery in Seattle, and we're talking like 30 to 40 breweries, and they just don't have the space. The last time I did a show in Seattle, we sold 1,200 tickets. So I don't want, like, the only reason I don't want to do a show that's like 150, 200 people is because I want more people to be able to come to the show. I don't mind a little bit of people feeling like they missed out if they just waited too long to get tickets, because we'll come back and do the whole. We're gonna do this tour every year, and it's gonna get more fun and bigger and crazy or whatever it is, but. So there's a lot of factors trying to figure those things out. Portland and Seattle, most of the breweries are, because of the way that they are situated in the cities, that they're just kind of smaller, and we want it to be inside because, weather, especially in the Pacific Northwest. So
I've almost knocked my beer on the soundboard twice now. Just keep that. I want to just keep this in the sand. Have you tried the Sans Jams yet?
I did. Sans Jams or Dan's Jams?
Well,
no.
It was the mango pineapple one.
Oh yes, I did. I killed it. I probably should have saved some for this, but no, I've gone through those.
It happens.
Yeah. I just need more, that's all.
Well, funny you should say that. Sans Jams does come out again next month.
Okay, well, some will be waiting for me when I pull into Baltimore. Let's hope. Let's hope. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things we'll have to do. I'll have to come by the brewery when we're in town. I'll have to see this. I'll have to see the schedule and see what that routing looks like, if there's even a down day or something like that. Because it'd be great to come in and just try some full tilt beers. I mean, we've done 3 collaborations. We did one with Fog Belt Brewing in Santa Rosa. We did one with LA Ale Works here in Los Angeles, and then Full Tilt was our. Full Tilt is really one of the first with the give back to the animal rescue. So I'm looking forward to having 90 amazing beers as we take this tour across the land.
That's right. And I'll talk about that for a second. Like Zane and his wife, Mel, like they do a ton for animal rescue. I mean, gosh, Zane, I don't think you want to say how many animals you might have at your house.
Right now,
violate some ordinance.
Right now we may or may not have 14. And it's weird that just I'm by myself. There's no, actually that's not true. There's one on the couch right in front of me. But yeah, we rescue cats and dogs. It's sort of our unspoken rule. We never say no. So, and like, for example, someone sent me a cat that had a really bad eye infection, a kitten, in Orange County. So about, 50 miles south of here, and said, can you do something? I was like, yep, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. So I talked to my wife and we said, either we go down there or we know other rescues that can handle it, or they're closer or whatever. And we just know rescues all around the country, and we'll work through the network and see what we can do. If it's close or we feel like doing the drive, we'll just go and get them. I mean, we got 2 last week, and they're every single day there's something. People, it's on the can is Quincy. So Quincy is this beautiful Turkish Angoran that was at a rescue. God knows why. They said he was aggressive, and he's like the most docile cat. But we like to take. It's not that whether we do or like to or don't. It doesn't really matter. Like we'll take the special needs cases. Like one of our cats, Pinocchio, kind of born with like a face deformity. His nose is pushed over the side, which he's incredibly cute. But there's some that have other sort of terminal illnesses, or we picked up one with a heart murmur the other day, and the lifespan's like 3, and it's like as fulfilling as the whole journey is, it's equally as crappy. Whether you're taking one in and you kind of get it back to health, and then you foster it out when you just kind of accept it into your family, or when one passes, it's a balance, and it's never easy. It's definitely fulfilling, and it has its highs, but every high is 100% offset by a low. Hey, Scooter, come here for a second.
Well, Zane, I just appreciate how genuine you are with these causes, you and Mel, and I appreciate you doing the adventure Snowcat dry hopped Pilsner with us.
Yeah.
With Quincy, as shown for the video watchers. So, as we alluded to, like, this beer benefits Barks in Baltimore, and it's a great animal rescue shelter within our community. They do tons of good work. We've been supporting them for years.
They seem amazing. Yeah.
I mean, like those video shoots and those photo shoots that we sent you, like those things were hilarious. But yeah, we've been working with them for a number of years, including like one of our, basically like our flagship at this point, Hops the Cat IPA, was Nick's cat that we had at Nick's apartment when we were watching Three Sheets. Like it all ties back to this,
wow.
like, for real though. Like, and Hops, he had like an autoimmune disease, and he passed away like before his time. But like he was just an awesome cat, so we honored him with the Hops the Cat IPA. Kind of turned him into like a Godzilla type of character.
Yeah,
and he's literally immortalized on like a mural inside our brewery.
Oh, that's awesome!
And we launched this this beer originally like in Fells Point in Baltimore. Actually, we didn't do anything at the Horse, but right there. Mm-hmm. And I think we raised like $4,000 or $5,000. And this coming from us, we didn't have much then.
Yeah,
we still
that's
don't.
awesome. Yeah.
But we raised like $4,000 or $5,000 that day, right there in Fells Point for Barks. And we just continue to work, these types of causes as well. So we're happy to work with you on this one. So
that's awesome. I didn't know that story. That's fantastic. I think it's just, I don't know. There's like this. There's a stigma with guys and cats. Some guys think that they're like that guys shouldn't like cats for whatever reason. For me, I'm just like, it's a very telling thing when a guy's like, oh yeah, cats are cool, because I don't know. It's a cultural thing, but for me, it's like we as human beings, we don't make the world easier for animals. We make it more challenging, and we treat them a little bit. Some people treat them very dispensably, and so it's why they go and get something, and then it ends up in the shelter, or they aren't fixed and it has babies and all that kind of stuff. So part of the journey is saving lives and donating money, and that is an amazing part. I'm sure that money went a long way. What is this, a picture of the cat? Oh
yeah, that's the mural on our wall. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, Hops the Cat on the main. Yeah, I don't speak into the mic. Need to be my hand held by Chris.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, the other side is awareness, and just I mean, there's a lot of breweries that certain breweries can afford to do it because of like where they are, but there's a lot of brewery cats, like working cats that are kind of there to make sure there's not mice and rats and whatever running around the brewery, and Oh, Snowcat just walked in, but he's not going to let me pick him up because he knows we're talking about him.
So, Washington D.C., you still have TBD under. Is that just working out the logistics of where it is, or are you still looking for a brewery there?
We were at DC Brow, and then we were at another one, and they just, for whatever reason, it didn't work out, and so we are now having to go a little bit outside the city. I'm going to tell you what it is in 2 seconds, and it is in Sterling, Virginia. It's Beltway Brewing.
Okay.
Which isn't on the Beltway, but that's fine.
Yeah, Sterling's a good 10-20 minutes outside the Beltway, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
they have a big space though. That'll work out fine.
That's right. And we looked at that space, and the space is is amazing.
It's a business, Zane. Like we're not going to hold it against you. You got, you're traveling all around the U.S., 90 shows in 6 months or whatever. You got to make it worth it.
Yeah. It's the logistics are. We've been working on it daily, and I mean like to the point where Sundays are our sort of like conference calls every single Sunday. We've been working on it since January 1st, like on a daily basis. So,
well, if Steve McKenna was your manager, this would all be ironed out by now. So
yeah, if Steve McKenna was our manager, we probably wouldn't have gotten one down.
Well, yeah, it looks like in the Mid-Atlantic area, you have quite a grind going. You're day to day.
That's probably, there was one. So we got like Manchester, New Hampshire, Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Carlsbad, New Jersey, that sold out so quick. They wanted to add a show on Saturday, October 2nd. But then we have Long Island the Sunday after that. Then one day off, Wilmington, Hershey, Philly, Baltimore, DC. And so we almost added
You froze
in New Jersey, and we might, but that means, what's that?
You froze a second there, but I think it.
Oh yeah, I mean the point is that it'd be 11 shows in 12 days, and I haven't done it yet, so I don't know what stamina is going to be required for this. I don't know how much I'll need these down days.
Well, I mean, on October 10th, you're free. You could go to Full Tilt that day, have a little show.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
A little savoring contest.
Yeah. We'll see.
If nothing else, before October 8th, Ministry of Brewing, it looks to be some tickets available. Nick and I will be in attendance for sure. But yeah, you'll have to join us at Full Tilt ahead of time.
Yes, that is one where we will make the exception, and because we don't have a long drive the day before. We're coming from Philly, so that's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I'll be doing a double show in Philly the night before, but I'll have energy.
We don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Nick's already heartbroken.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you need to use the excuse that you're just avoiding Nick, that is completely valid.
I can't avoid him. He's standing outside my house right now. He's like waving at me. I better go out and start joining him in his dance or whatever he's doing.
All right, Zane. We already went a half hour over what.
All
okay.
Good.
All right. Cool. I didn't want to keep going if you needed to.
Well, I do have to hop out with my tour manager because we have to hit up a place before they close at 5. But yeah.
So one real quick.
Sure.
Where is your favorite city in America to drink?
Oh God. You gonna make me answer that?
Yeah.
Set up some parameters.
It could be one of the places that you filmed at. Which episode was the most fun?
What episode was the most fun?
So then I guess that relate that to the city.
I mean, look, I was traveling with my wife, my best friend, and the crew, Josh and Gio and Tad, who are like brothers, like family. We've shot so much stuff together. Every day was amazing. Every day, and everywhere we went, people were so receptive to us that, we only went places that had good drink culture and had people that were excited about having us at their place. So everything was amazing. Baltimore was a great episode. New Orleans was a great episode. Seattle, Hope, Maui, and Kauai. We
there they are.
Yeah.
Those are the real
come on
real
now.
places.
Come on now. Yeah.
Feel free to just say.
Isn't it?
Anyway.
Isn't it any place that has French fries and red wine after the show?
That's for Steve. Steve's criteria. That's why I said you have to set up some parameters. Look, everywhere we go, it's a privilege. And I'm not. This isn't just rhetoric. Like, it's a privilege to go and be welcomed into a city. So, like, how do you say that New Orleans is better than Louisville or Baltimore and DC? Like, how do you draw the line of, like, having a good time? Like, we had great hosts in both places. So, Savannah and Charleston, like Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Tampa, like, we hit, I don't know how many episodes we did, maybe like 60. So it's really difficult to, like, it'd be easier if you said, which sibling is your favorite? Because I have a brother and my sister. It's my sister. Well, it's easy.
What about international? Is it easier then?
No, it's the same thing, because, like, Tahiti, Fiji, Kuala Lumpur, Sydney, that's just in the South Pacific. Then you got, like, Hamburg and Berlin and Venice and Rome, Paris, Champagne, France, Brussels, London. Like, how do you say that one of those is better than the other?
Are you just humble, like, bragging now?
What's that?
Are you just humble bragging now?
No, I'm yeah. You guys are doing it for me, but it's
and yet somehow you found, like, some weirdo person, like, in each of these episodes. Like, that was one of my favorite things with Three Sheets. You'd always find, like, the weird guy to be a part of your episode.
Every bar has one. Every bar has one. Ski Patrol, where you're drinking and they want to be part of what you're doing. So yeah. And then again, it's just how you're going there to celebrate the drinking culture with people whose livelihoods and jobs and revolve around showing people a good time. And here you get the red carpet treatment in all those places. Like, they were amazing. Oktoberfest, like, that was, those are great episodes. I don't remember them because I was drunk the whole time, but I watched them and they're great.
What is your favorite style of beer?
That I could get a little bit more specific on. Like, right now, I like lagers and porters. I like session beers because,
like, dry hopped pilsners.
I like lager dropped specifically with cats on them, and that's one of the reasons. And that's one of the reasons we chose to make that beer. We talked about it beforehand. Was I wanted something that I can have one or two of and still have my wits about me. If I was going to have, an imperial stout, after two of those, I'd be like, Steve. I'd be like Steve with no beers.
As a world record holding podcaster.
Yeah,
and we'll just pretend that you hold it. We'll count your Photoshop certificate.
No. I did it. I still have the world record. I might not have the Guinness World Record, but I have the world record.
How would you grade our performance?
Like in a letter grade?
Yeah. Like, how would you grade our podcasting skills?
Give you guys like a solid. For like technically, A. If I was grading, like, your sleeves, I'd probably give you like a C. Because
well, that's Dan's. I've got full sleeves, like a.
You do. So it makes up for it. No, this is good. I like people who come in with questions. You know what I mean? Like, coming in curious, legitimately wanting to know the answers to something. So Anytime I can get a podcast like that, like I did a podcast once, and the guy was like, "So tell us about what you do." I'm like, "You're gonna have me do all the work here, huh?" And then he's like, "So like, what's the deal with your monkey?" I was like, "What do you mean? What's the deal?" Like, okay, I see how this is going. He hadn't seen a show, and it's fine. But no, this is good. This is good. I think a good podcast is like a good like travel show. It should feel effortless, and people should feel like they're sitting here hanging out with us. Although if we were in the same room, I have a feeling we probably would have consumed more beer than we've actually consumed here.
Probably. I have a very solid supply here that I would be trying to push off on you.
Yeah. And I'd be pretending to fight you off.
Well, Zane, thank you so much for your time. I hope that I get the chance to destroy you in a beer sabering contest.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if we can make that happen. It'd have to be we'll set up some parameters and we'll do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you want to support Barks, you go to barks.org.
And by the way, it's BARCS.
That's right. Thank you, Zane.
You're welcome.
It seems that you're the pro and Chris is the pro and I am the amateur. And also I brought the C sleeves, but you're not going to have a Steve McKenna shirt. The Steve McKenna shirt should not have sleeves.
I'll end. You don't know how right that is. I will give you my, here's the last story. So I came, when I moved out to LA, I started an internet company called Extracast, and it was a database for extras. So
love this story. Yeah, go on.
You know this one?
No, I know about the company. I love the grind, man. I listen. I love it.
And so we were a database for extras for TV and movies. And when we came out, it was like, got to be like 99, 2000, 2001, whereas we are at our heyday. And every Steve had just moved to Wilmington. And I was like, hey, why don't we, like, you're still trying to figure out what you're doing out there. You're just trying to be an actor. It's not like, I don't think a full-time actor in Wilmington is a thing. That's just not possible. But so, I mean, you can do stuff. You just can't do it full-time. And so I went out there and I said, hey, Steve, here's a book on HTML. Here's a book on the industry. Here, because we have a database, and I just want you to read it and know how it works. I get out there, and there's a pile of books, literally in the bag, unopened, didn't even crack them. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long. And my buddy Sterling, my childhood friend, was there, and he was helping me that summer. And we flew out to Wilmington. I said, all right, well, look, Steve, move aside. Sterling and I are going to call the casting directors in town. We're going to just get some meetings. We're only there for 3 days. He was supposed to set up meetings and all this kind of stuff. We landed. He didn't do anything, which is just, Steve. And so I said, look, one of the things we might want to do is go to like a hotel in Wilmington and set up like an Extracast event, a yearly event where we have every, photographer, acting coach, everybody there, and we like just rent out the ballroom and just have like a big event, like people can connect and just turn it into like a really good event for actors that want to network. So it was like 100 degrees that day, and we had dressed up, and we all had like blazers on, and I had like a dress shirt, and Sterling had a polo shirt, and Steve had like a t-shirt, like he looked like Don Johnson. And we get in there and sit down with this woman. A young woman, she was our age. We were like in our late 20s. She was in her late 20s. And so we sit down and I said, this is whatever. And Steve's like dripping sweat. He's like, I'm sorry. I got to take my sport coat off. So Steve takes off his sport coat, and he has a t-shirt that he has ripped the sleeves off of. So we went from like 3 guys in suits to now 2 guys in suits and 1 jackass in a ripped off t-shirt. No offense, Dan, because yours makes sense. like in this like meeting. And I so as I was introducing, I'm like, I'm Zane, this is Sterling, and this is Steve McKenna. And she's like, just as he's taking his jacket off, she's like, did you just say his name is Sleeves McKenna? And like we lost it. I laughed so hard I fell on the ground, and I was like, I'm out. And I literally like just thanked the woman. We went to the bar. We got drunk. The next day, I left. I'm like, I'm not gonna like have Steve running the Wilmington division of ExtraCast when he can't read a book and set a meeting and shows up with a freaking ripped off T-shirt. It was like, oh, that was the gods. The gods like give me so many hints. I shouldn't do that. So I was like, all right, I'm out.
I always just name every episode, like the episode number and then who the guest is.
Yeah.
I think I just need to name this one 2 guys and a jackass with no sleeves.
That's it. Do that. Do that.
Yeah,
but Dan, it's not a reference to you. It's a
that's not going to do it any justice.
No, it's a reference to Steve, not you.
Well, I am a jackass and I don't have sleeves on right now.
No, that's just coincidence. It's coincidence.
People will be able to do the math.
Yeah. I think you just call this Dan's Jams.
So where do people go to get tickets?
Go to ZaneLamprey.com. If you don't know how to spell it, put it into Google. Everything's there. So whether you want to go and check out Adventure, our apparel brand, or you want to look and see what dates are available, ZaneLamprey.com. Everything's there. And tickets are selling so quick. So if anyone's thinking about it, you might as well just go do it.
I wanted to get a hoodie, but all your fat guy sizes are sold out.
No, they're just not in yet. For Adventure, I decided to move all my manufacturing into the US. And I did it for all the best reasons, carbon footprint, US jobs, all these things, ease of communication. And we've had the worst experience with US manufacturers that we're like, we're not doing anymore. Like it's not the big. It's not
sounds like Greg Cook.
It's not the big guy sizes are sold out. They're not in yet.
Okay.
And they were supposed to be in by October 15th. So they're
just a little late.
Whatever. Yeah, we'll have some. We'll have some soon. We'll have the better made overseas versions sooner than we have these ones.
I did get a Pleplius bottle opener ring.
Oh, nice.
But I will not use this anymore because I savor everything.
Yeah, or drink out of cans. Oh, that's true. Anytime it's a bottle, yeah. Just give the guy a knife. Yeah.
All right, so everyone, hurry up and buy your tickets to the local Mid-Atlantic shows, and then if you're somewhere else in the country, obviously look and see where you're at.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today,
Chris. Dan, my pleasure. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in person before you know it.
And if you don't, we will find you. We will hunt you down.
Nick already knows.
We will defeat you in some sort of challenge.
Just call Nick and go to Filter. Where can people get this beer? Can they buy it online?
They can via Beer Me, which is like mainly like Maryland people will know. Yeah. But the best place to buy is in the tap room.
Okay.
And again, a portion of the proceeds goes to barks.org. They support animals and animal shelters within the Baltimore metropolitan area. It's a great cause, and it's a cause that obviously Zane supports. So
yes,
let's do it.
And by the way, my wife yelled at me because we don't have enough of these, and this is the second one I've drank so far. So we need, and she has all of her animal rescue people out here that want to try it. So I might need to figure out a way to get a case or two to the Lamprey's.
You might know a guy.
Okay, I'll call him after the show. Awesome, guys! Thank you so much. This was a hoot. I appreciate it.
You.
Well done.
And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Cheers.
Cheers. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I will. Like I said, I'll see you before you know it.
Appreciate you letting us run long. We are big fans. That wasn't lip service.
Oh, I forgot what I did want to say while we were recording though. My brother-in-law is a huge fan of you, and I can't remember all the details of the story because I only half listen when he talks. He was in the hospital for a while, and you sent him a bunch of autographed DVDs. So he just wanted me to tell you thank you.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
How much he appreciated it.
I appreciate it. I will never take anyone for granted.
And I paid, this probably did absolutely nothing for you, but I paid for a Drink TV subscription at the start of the pandemic just so like I could listen and watch to pretty much all of your shows were on there, right?
A bunch were on there. That was like, that's just like, I mean, it's not a long story, but that was, Brewdog, Brewdog. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they started the network, and then they thought all of their fans would go and subscribe, and when they didn't, they shut down the channel in 12 days. Like, fucking guys, and so many people were depending on it, and we spent a year making those episodes for it, and whatever.
I know this fucking sucks to hear, man, but like when you tell those things, like to me as like someone that's in business, like I'm just like, God damn it, man, like preach. Like it's fucking hard.
It's interesting. I wrote down when you said that because I've been trying to find the identity of my podcast, and it's difficult with like, Steve. I just can't do it with him, and because he doesn't want it, because he doesn't want it. He doesn't want anything. I don't know, whatever. And so I'm now doing it with people, and I think that's one of the things that now that you said that, it's like one of the things that I can talk about is like just the trials and tribulations of going off on your own and what it takes, because every single guest I have has made it work. And like I said, I wrote down that you said that, and make a Guinness plaque for my office, a fake one. I'll send you a picture of it. And I'm definitely gonna like. I think that might be like, because I don't want to talk about current events. I don't want to sit out and try to like go and find interesting facts. I'd rather just like talk to people and talk about what it took for them to get where they are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think if it's relatable, people can have some takeaway from it. So keep listening to the show and you'll hear that what you just said incorporated into future episodes.
Well, like everyone has a story and a grind, like of how they got there. Some people's like aren't that interesting because like they maybe were just like so successful. But I remember I sent you an email like saying like I loved your format like after one of the episodes, and like literally you had to quit the format immediately after. It was like you guys went and like recited like how everything went for one of your Drinking Made Easy episodes. And then Steve was just like, no, I can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
I remember specifically, I just said to Zane, like, that's awesome. Like, I love that episode. You talked about all the challenges. You talked about everything. And it's like, nah, can't do it. Can't do it.
And that's part of what I want to do. I want to move forward too. It's all I'm happy that happened. So I'm not going back and recapping. I want to move forward. And so doing this and having guests on now that we can start, having people come over, then we'll, that's going to definitely be part of what we do.
Well, you have a network, and like, it could be brewery entrepreneurs, or it could be anyone,
Exactly.
And they all have similar tales to you. And like, you can, you can lend your experiences, you're interesting enough person.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Done.
I'm going to listen no matter what you do.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I'll like I said, listen and give me input. I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. And, hopefully we'll see you in October.
Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Before you know it, like I said, cheers, guys.
Domination and some fucking challenge.
Exactly. See you guys.
Bye.
Cheers.